That's it. Serafin nods towards the featureless asteroid. Those are the coordinates Juni gave me. You look out at the rock, it's like thousands, hundreds of thousands of other rocks in the starward belt. All these objects, much the same, spread across a huge circumference of space, a good place to hide something. That's it? Juni speaks up from the back of the cockpit. That's it. Serafin confirms. She drifts toward her eyes, tracing the shape of the rock. There! Points. That hexagonal crater. Turns to, that's the entry. You look at the dark spot on the already dark rock. It's a start. Let me guess. Another hatch for me to cut? You turn to see Bliss smiling, having slipped in at the back of the cockpit unnoticed. I'll get my torch. You look out at the unassuming rock and wonder what it might contain. A few dusty tunnels or something more. And you go find out. Yeah. The entry. Okay. Twos. Okay, so negatives are going to be stress. Cut the seal. The hatch has been sealed intentionally. Precisely cutting the seal away will be the safest way to gain entry. Let's cut that. Cut into that. I can't use Juni right now, so I'm not going to push it this round. I'm going to use the 4 no matter what. Let's force the hatch. Brute force approach. The hatch vibrates as the seal tears away. You are almost inside. Let's get the positives out of the way. Don't want to unnecessarily push the issue right now. Yeah. Ooh, hello, spire. Like doorway, yeah, this is where Juni would come in. Spire leads into a vast space. What is this place? The only way to find out is hack the final doorway. Okay, no, I don't want to push it just right now, so I'm going to cycle. I do have a 6 there. Okay. And I can use my 6s to be 4s. Yeah. Yay. Oh, come on, game. Seriously. I get 325% in a row. Did I get that right? What a douchebag. Okay. And cycle. I'll get some broken dice here. No. Okay, cool. Although at the same time, yeah, bliss with 2 6s. Let's use those 6s. Gas is the best plan. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You can take the stress. I'm going to push it. Get a 5 here to get a 6 there. And one of those 5s is going to be better than negative, right? Right. Thank you. When he entered the X spire, the crew suddenly went very quiet. Images of a vast space seen through the viewing windows, the pristine wall paneling, the cool and the quiet. There's a sacred mood to this place, a feeling of hallowed ground. Now, as the facility's final entry lock whirls, flooding the passage with stale, dusty, 10,000 cycle old air, Juni speaks. It's possible. It drifts down the spire and out into the cavernous interior. A constellation of red specks mark the vast extent of the space, and within it, a ring of monolithic buildings curves the way, running along the circumference of the massive chamber. You follow her slowly out of the doorway and into the bunker. With a name like that, you had imagined low, sloped ceilings, dark tunnels, a basement cut into a rock. But this place is a cathedral, a cocoon the size of a city. Look at that ring. Bliss nods at the vast structure encircling the caverns. That's Solheim built, right? Almost look like Alan's eye? Descending to the ring takes a while. Despite the empty space, no one wants to rush through it. The feeling of entering a sacred territory remains. Through the deeper you go inside, the more obvious it becomes that this place is more tomb than temple. You touch down amongst grey metal units, most of them featureless and dark. They tower above you now. Their plane frontage is revealing little about their function and interior. Close. Juni moves ahead into the gap between two structures. The place is a labyrinth. Welcome, visitors. A pale flicker appears near one of the units at the top of the square pedestal. I'm the warden. Please provide access credentials. Flicker stabilizes into a figure, a statue of pulsing light. It pauses for a moment before repeating its request. Juni freezes and holds a calming hand out to you. She retrieves her deck, sliding it carefully from her backpack, and turns it on. You look over at the warden, who waits patiently, wide-eyed and absent, restating its security request with a regular rhythm. You guess that this avatar just exists to make human interactions comfortable. Its true body is the facility itself, its vast interior ring, speckled with sensors and systems. Suddenly the warden stops speaking. Then a flash of red passes along the corridor. Credentials not provided. Lockdown activated in 10, 9. You look over at Juni, whose eyes are rapidly scanning through a screen full of data. Fascinating. Juni stumbles through the pronunciation of the passphrase. Litter Hildstead. She looks up at the warden's avatar expectantly. The warden flickers again, distorts, and then stabilizes. Oversight connection not active. Reattempting. It repeats itself again, then again, intoning the words in a regular rhythm. You look over at Juni, holding still, as if encountering a wild animal. She meets your eye, but gives no indication of any action you might take. Loop bypass engaged. Welcome, officer. The synthetic voice shifts to a different tone. Leonard, Dahl. The avatar's white eyes stay blank and blind. And guests. Protocol has been active the entire time? Bliss whispers. Surely that's not possible. Juni looks back at you, and then at the warden. Figure flickers, staring out over your heads into the dark. Very good, Juni. She looks at the warden. Warden, are we approved to access all facilities? Yes, Officer Dahl, the warden replies. Please remember, you are responsible for the conduct of your guests while visiting our facility. Be careful. I don't like this. Bliss looks at the dead-eyed avatar. You move forward, pushing between the structures towards a large building, in the hope that it holds the facility's central data core. As you do, you pass benches, barren gardens with desiccated grass. The drinking bottle floats in the air among dust motes. This place is dead. Be aware, officer. The warden reappears in the dark, shimmering on a pedestal. Due to this facility's extended run cycle and the activation of the hibernation protocol, access to the central data store will be strictly limited. However, if you wish to show your guests the habitation facilities, I'm sure they will enjoy the tour. The avatar remains expressionless, disconnected from the voice that accompanies it. On a personal note, I'm glad to see you return to the facility. Figure flickers. I'm happy to report that I am ready for program reactivation at any time. Juni stares at the avatar. Thank you, Warden. Pauses. Can I ask how long ago the hibernation protocol was activated? Certainly. 11,473 Hylian standard cycles ago. The warden distorts. If I'm in error, I apologize. Some subsystems have not been properly maintained. You look at the blind avatar, standing on its pedestal, waiting for an order that will never come. So many cycles in the dark, patiently holding this place together as it fell apart, resisting entropy in its bubble of the past. Thank you, Warden. That'll be all. Juni nods to the avatar, which promptly blinks out of existence, leaving only the dust and the dark. She turns to you and speaks quietly, through none of you know what sensors the warden's vast body might have. My access, it won't last long, she sighs. We need to make the most of it. It stirs the facility. The warden will likely allow that, but our presence probably won't be tolerated for very long. Uni knots. Let's get on with it. Okay. We have access to bunker core and to ring facility. Check it, so... Explore heavy units. Hundreds lived and worked in this facility, and the evidence is everywhere. You can't help but search through it. Or search storage. The facility storage depot is in incredible condition. There has to be useful components here among the tools. It's a Solheim strike. Warden stress, your nervous host. So this is going to take every turn. Let's get the storage out of the way. Bunker core. Extra hardware. The more dramatic way to steal data is to rip the physical storage out of the core. Lovely, of course. Or scrape cache. Extracting the entire cache will alert the warden, so the data needs to be scraped away layer by layer. That's risky. Let's try. I can push. Let's try that one. Okay, I'll take a neutral there, and I want to risk a neutral on that one. Not going to risk a neutral just yet. Yeah. Lovely. Okay. And of course, those are both 4s. F it, push it. Push it, break it, baby. For multiple ports and scraping different data sources turns out to be faster. Let's see what we can... The ring facility, yeah. Lumps around the house units are like a museum, preserved perfectly in the sealed bunker. What can you find? Don't want to necessarily push it that much. Let's see. I'm fine with doing that because I think the neutral is good there as well. And we got a positive one, which is good. Let's push with the 6. Systematically cutting the connections to drive allows the entire thing to be pulled free. So I believe if I go with the 5s, there is going to be a risk of doing something there. So let's take the let's go here because this is just risky. We have time. We still have time. Go in here. No. Yeah, cool. Oh, that was for me. Yeah, I'm not good at yeah, storage. Okay, cool. I can I don't wanna push it though. That's only for bliss. Yeah, unfortunately my 5s are not really good right now, so let's see how many dice I will end up with. Okay. Still have all 3 of my die. Nice. Okay, with the 6 we are going to get to... Okay, let's see. Facility, if I push it... This will be a 5. Budget. Go. The Solheim souvenir. There is an unsettling quiet to the HAB units of the facility, a soft silence that blankets every room and hallway. It is obvious from the number of rooms, the detritus, the scale of the place that it was built to house hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Perhaps it did. Perhaps, at the height of Solheim's control of the system, these rooms were filled with life. What kind of life would it be, though, maintaining and running a secret installation inside a distant rock? No sun to speak of, no one outside beyond the vast cavern that surrounds you. And eternal dark, punctuated by the flash of artificial light. And yet, even in such places, lives grow. You know it yourself from being a sleeper. from her work among other sleepers in the most wretched and distant corners of the surrogate systems. Even in the endless dark, people find ways to live. Come, take a look at this. June is searching on her own, a few rooms away. You glide through an open doorway into a living room with couches, meant for zero-G use, a magnetic table, and a window that looks out the regular constellation of red lines that describe the limits of this world. June is holding an object that makes you stop still and stare, blinking at what seems like an unusual reversal of scale. It's a model, you realize, of the rig. Not your rig, obviously, but a rig, or an MEV Rigger class, as the plaque on the base tells you. Mobile extraction vehicle. Juni follows her eyes to the plaque. Rigger class? She frowns. Seriously? That's why we call them rigs? He laughs, the noise bouncing back hard and cruel in the empty room. What does Rigger mean anyway? Nice. Another Solheim mystery. You look at the model, still fascinated by seeing your ship rendered in such careful detail. You try to imagine what this model meant to those who lived here. Child's toy, a meaningless corporate knick-knack. The model's purpose remains opaque. There are so many of these flying around the system before the collapse, you know. Jenny turns the model over in her hand. Solheim used to rent them out to colonists. You've seen the records. That was what they did here. They claimed the system, then rather than exploit it themselves, they provided goods and services to those who would. The workers paid for transit to the system, then accommodation, equipment, and access to mining claims. Other corps, like XPR or Neovend, paid Solheim to access this closed market to provide other services. Meanwhile, Cybele paid even more to test terraforming tech in the system. They built massive projects here, rich from work they only facilitated but never undertook. But then they collapsed. Yeah, that's what happens when you are all built on other people's work. Few high-profile accidents, malfunctions, and the exodus begins. Once it starts, the shareholders lose trust, and Jenny turns and squints out the window. Here we are at the far end of it. Here. Jenny turns and hands you the rig model. A gift. You take it and turn it over in your hands. You see something on the base, some words scratched and that you can't read. You run your fingers over them, touching the past. It's the closest thing to your treasure I think will turn up here. In size. The people who worked this place didn't have much to their names, it seems. And what little they did have, well, Solheim owned that too. She leads you out of the hab units, passing countless doors, some sealed, some open, that led to countless rooms where countless employees lived lives, or tried to, in the shadow of Solheim. Like it or not, this is what made the Helion system. What built the decaying structures you cling to as they orbit their star. What that legacy means now is the decision every resident of the starboard belt has to make. I like that the reward is a story for these little small things. One short. I can push the one short. I can push it there. Go. It's fine. Done. Jin removes her cable from the data core port. She looks up from the boxy piece of hardware, one that wouldn't fit inside any ship short of a freighter, and stares at the domed ceiling above. An oculus at its apex, letting a shaft of light into the hull. It's a grand piece of architecture for what amounts to a massive piece of data storage, but then Solheim always did have a sense of grandeur when it came to its projects. Why should a secret signal monitoring facility be any less opulent than its other buildings? Find anything good? Hard to tell. She squints at the vast data core. There's too much in there. I barely scratched the surface. We'll only know what's really there when I have time to process it. We should go. Juni sighs. Not sure how the warden will react. Looks back over her shoulder at the vast core. I don't think we'll be let back in to get more. As if listening for its name, the warden suddenly apparates on one of its pedestals. It stares, statuesque, across the hall, its eye line way above your head. Officer Dahl! Its voice sounds strange now, stretched, drawn out. I have detected inconsistencies in the central data core. I believe they may have been unauthorized access. He looks at you nervously. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will investigate when I can. But for now, my guests and I, looks at you, have to depart. The warden flickers, the warden bends and warps. The warden screeches, a pulse of digital noise. Of course. The warden's voice is still broken, still slowed. I hope you enjoyed your visit to this facility. Judy looks up at the blind statue. Something is moving inside it, making its skin, if it has a skin, bend away from its body. Let's go, Junie. Junie nods and glides with you out of the domed hall. You and Junie kick off from the ring, outside the core, and rise up towards the spire you enter through. As you do, you watch a few of the red lights embedded into the framework of the cavern flicker. Junie turns to you as you ascend through the dark. Do you think the warden is sentient? I mean, as a sleeper, maybe you... Goes quiet. I thought you might know. It could have become sentient. Is the collapse? That possible? I suppose with no oversight from Solheim technicians, the protocol could develop some rudimentary learning skills. Pauses. Seems unlikely it could learn to think, though. He looks up to the approaching spire. Bliss is waiting for you in the access spire. Time to close up? Let's get on with it. He cycles the airlock and you go through, now in your suits and helmets, ascending the sealed spire. As you do, you look out of the viewing windows and something catches your eye. Rings red lights and those few left on inside the cavern are turning off, layer by layer. You turn to Junie, but she's already looking out of the opposite side. The warden is shutting it all down. Pauses. Sending it. You have to force the hatch back open at the top, and by the time you do, the spire is dark inside, the pristine walls no longer lit. You come out to a canvas of stars, an impossible number of them spread out in every direction. You take a moment to look at them. For being tucked away in the bunker, they seem impossibly bright and impossibly beautiful. You glance across at Junie. She is looking up at the stars too, absorbing their light, as if doing so might lift her out of this time and into another one, where things were different. And yeah, fully extracted everything there. This shouldn't even be a... I guess that must be a... Oh, bug. Be available, and yeah, let's leave. Serafin settles the rig at Holmes Rock, the old Solheim arrays glinting in the sun. Looking out at the station, you suddenly remember the model Junie gave you, and you take it out of your pocket. Seeing it in full light, you notice it's made from cast metal, surprisingly detailed and robust looking. Look at that! Serafin glides over. It's a mini-rig! Let him take it. He turns it over in his hand, looking at it. What a find! He gazes at the model shift. What are you going to do with it? Mount it on your console? Really? Serafin grins. Well, we can do that for sure. Looks at the model for another moment, then pats you on the shoulder. Good call. Everyone can enjoy it then. He takes the model and glides over to his console. I'll get it sorted. He turns back smiling. God, look great. Sleeper? Junie puts a hand gently on your shoulder. You turn to see her smiling, a rare smile. Thank you for going out on a limb for me. I know that wasn't the most profitable job, but what we found, I'll be thinking about it for, well, ever. Managed to extract some data that you can use, and I'm going to search through everything we pulled out from the bunker. He looks down. I want to show you it was worthwhile. Was worthwhile. He nods. Glad you think so. I'll also start seeing where to find the kind of tools I need to work with data like this. Her smile is fading already, replaced by a familiar, determined stare. Can't let it go to waste. My deck is not going to be enough. Dark side might be the only option. The biggest remaining Solheim facility in the belt. I'll look into it. Either way, thanks for bringing me with you. Glad to be part of this. Smile returns. For as long as you'll have me. She looks away nervously, and then, before you can respond, she's gone. Off to find a corner of the ship where she can dig through the data she pulled from the past in order to build a better future. And we have Solheim data. And 2 upgrade points. Let's go.